So, import is the topic of focus today, and I want to give you an idea of how to successfully accomplish this in a very quick and easy way. Import is usually a good starting point for most teams when they begin to use Map My Customers because it gets your whole book of business into the tool very quickly and easily. The way that you want to begin, though, is you want to click on the plus icon inside of our web app and then click import. That'll bring you to the page you see here, and we've got actually, when you first come here, I'll go ahead and refresh the page. You actually get um, you actually have an import overview video, and that actually explains to you how to do the whole process, right? It's going to walk you through everything here in case this video doesn't do it for you well enough. Um, but once you watch that, click I'm ready to import. It's a good primer to watch that ahead of doing this. Click download sample file. This will give you an idea. That will actually open up one of our support articles where you can then open up the file that you want in Google Sheets or as an Excel file. And that file will be just a sample, right? So use it as guidance. Probably wouldn't import that directly. But once you have your file in the shape and format that you're desiring, you can just basically drag and drop it here or click to upload. So I'm going to go ahead and click to upload. So I've got the file here, and I'm going to be importing companies. You could do people, deals, or activities as well. Usually a good starting point is companies, though. The next thing you'll see is you'll be asked to determine whether or not you would like to start from scratch or use a saved matching. We probably don't need to worry about this for now. Saved matching is really useful if you're doing multiple imports because it saves the field mapping. That is to say, what columns in your spreadsheet do you want to match to which fields in Map My Customers? It saves that mapping for you so you can use it again in the future. In this case, though, we will start from scratch. And fields can either be skipped or matched up here, right? So it will automatically and intelligently decide um, how to map the fields between MFC and your spreadsheet columns. And so it might not be exactly correct. You do want to actually check over every single one of them. In this case, you can determine whether or not you want to use the company an ID as an ID that you have presented in the spreadsheet, but you don't have to have an ID in the spreadsheet. A unique ID that identifies each record. So you can skip this. If you do have an ID brought to the table, though, maybe it's the ID that you have in your CRM system or your ERP platform, you can use that. But we'll skip. Any field that has an asterisk next to it is required. So we're going to want to make sure that those are selected. And as we scroll down, we can see almost everything selected as we want it. Groups, notes, et cetera, et cetera. We got some custom fields down here that we can match up if we want, and it's not required, right? So if you have custom fields, you can certainly match those up with the spreadsheet columns as well, and should be good to go. If everything isn't filled out specifically as required, you will be told why it's not working, why it's not letting you actually do the next step. Here we can see what we haven't actually selected um, all the required fields, right? So let's take a look at what we're missing here. We have an asterisk next to multi-option. That's a required field, and that's a custom field as well. So what we're going to do is just we're going to choose a field to match to that column, and then we'll be good to go. Everything will turn blue. We'll click next. It'll start our import. And basically, if there are any issues with the import, it will tell you. It'll tell you how many records have been created, how many records have been updated, and if there are any warnings or errors. So if we return the imports, we're actually going to see that we had an error here. We're going to click here for details. The import says it was partially completed, and then we can download this file here, which will actually give us an idea of why something was not imported, right? And so, again, if anything goes wrong, you're going to be aware of it, and it should be really quite easy to go ahead and get started with your import.